back to those old days. So for me, it was no longer a contest between individuals. It was not a contest between a so-called interim political party and democracy. And when you have a binary like that, I have no doubt, no hesitation at all about what side of the barricades my position should be. And that interview by Datti, that disgraceful, menacing interview, was for me the ultimate signal. Because this was somebody, calling for a rubbishing of a structure by which he himself had profited to ever become a governor. I'm talking about Peter Obi, who was what is known as a judgment governor. And even, even before he'd attended the tribunal had sat, his party, his spokesman, in this case Datti, came on television to threaten everyone, to threaten her if his interpretation of the results was not upheld. I mean, this for me was amoral, politically amoral, socially immoral. It was playing to a certain script, even if they didn't know it. That's very important. It was later that I began to express my suspicion that they were part of the script. At the beginning, I even thought, look at these poor fools. They don't see it and they are playing to other people's script. What a pity. So at that time, hostilities were not yet so intense. So this is what I was referring to in that sometimes democracy leaves the stage of individual contest for power and then commences its own struggle for existence, for actualization. Democracy, as you and I understand it, you cannot accept judgments only when they favor you if you go by the same arbitration panel, the same arbitration structure. You cannot just say, I accept this only when it suits me. I mean, it is an insult.
Here we go again. The gaslighting, even after the election. They gaslight on social media and they send their elderly ones to go on TV and gaslight Mr. Peter Obi and the obedient. Soyinka has not taken away Peter Obi's name from his mouth, even after Tinubu has won the election. The presidential election, according to Mr. Peter Obi, was a time to dismantle the criminal structures backed by powerful elites who wants to control the narrative, who wants to control the economy of the country. The gang up against Mr. Peter Obi is not surprising, from INEC to judiciary to the police, and unfortunately, Soyinka, who happens to be an educated, a Nobel laureate, is among those against dismantling the criminal structure in Nigeria. If not, kindly explain to me why of everything happening in Nigeria, the suffering, the inflation, insecurity, the recent Ibadan explosion, this man choose to focus on OBI-DATTI that have moved on from the sham election where they were robbed of their mandate. He's here to talk about anything affecting Nigerians. He's here to talk about the Tinubu policies that will help to grow Nigeria's economy. He's here to talk about the insecurity in the land. But he chose to focus on one man, Peter Obi. There were many others that contested the election with Peter Obi, but yet Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate, choose to talk about Mr. Peter Obi. For the record, Datti Baba Ahmed was referring to the constitution that stipulates 25% in Abuja during the presidential election. It was clear to everyone that you need to score 25% in Abuja before you are announced the winner of the presidential election. He talked about Tinubu certificate forgery. All these were glaring before the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. He never called for an insurrection. He never called for an uprising. He never called for an annulment as Wole Soyinka is alleging. He said the judiciary will be enabling illegality if Tinubu is not sacked. Soyinka saying that after Datti Baba Ahmed granted that interview to Channels Television, that he thought that it was part of a grand plan to annul the election is completely unfounded. The way he attacked Datti Baba Ahmed and used derogatory words on Labour Party supporters shows his hypocrisy. How did Soyinka react in 2011 when Buhari supporters unleashed violence on innocent people across the nation? If what happened to Labour Party, Peter Obi and Datti Baba Ahmed happened to a Northerner or maybe APC, we all know what would be happening in Nigeria right now. Now, having this in mind, one wonders why Soyinka is determined to tarnish the image of peaceful people. Why can't he just support his candidate without trying to tarnish the image of peaceful people? Peter Obi has never called for any violence. Why is this man always trying to link him with violence? Many people at different fora have always asked Peter Obi, what do you want Nigerians to do next? What do you want your supporters to do? Since the mandate was stolen, Peter Obi has always maintained that it cannot be achieved through violence. That anyone that wants to be called His Excellency must come to power through the right way. Nigeria will be achieved through peaceful means, not through violence. They've insisted there is no constitution in Nigeria today. When are we going to hit the streets? This is what they understand. This is the language they understand. Protest. Despite the pressure of people around him, he has always maintained a peaceful demeanor, saying we will achieve what we want to achieve through the peaceful means. He has said we are preaching the right things, we will not do it wrongly. I've always said that those who want to answer excellency must come through the excellent way. It will take time. It will look as if it's going to be tough, but I will tell you it won't be too far. We are going to do it the right way and we are going to get there without any form of violence. This is what Peter Obi has been saying all along. So Wole Soyinka trying to link Mr. Peter Obi with violence is very unfortunate. Okay, let's make the record straight. Yes, Mr. Peter Obi has benefited from the judiciary in the past when he came in as a governor of Anambra State through the judiciary. That was the reason why he decided to follow the legal means in challenging for the election that produced Bola Ahmed Tinubu through the Supreme Court, and the ruling was not in his favor. He has moved on, did not protest, did not call for any protest. So why is Soyinka linking him with violence? Now he talks about democracy. Now let us even compare the democracy we are practicing today to the military rule. Our present day democracy is a disguise of the military rule. Our politicians constantly disobey court orders. They detain people indefinitely as long as they want. Even if you have numerous court orders ordering them to release someone, they refuse to obey the court orders and detain them indefinitely. The current crop of politicians we have today are nothing but civilian dictatorship, and they are worse than the military rule that anybody will ever experience. What our politicians are doing now, a military dictator, we shiver at it. And the funny aspect of it, the Western power will not even sanction them despite experiencing the atrocious things they are doing in the name of democracy. Things that you will not even find in a military regime that the Western power condemn outrightly. Imagine spending 3 billion naira just to rectify the registrar that they will use in paying poor people. So Soyinka should stop all these democratic rhetoric. It is pure deception. Where was he when the election was rigged and they went to court and there was a judicial coup? All this did not threaten democracy. Where was he when the certificate forgery case was going on, even with evidence, and the judiciary did not rule on it? That did not threaten democracy. But when someone asks that people should do the right thing, that people should follow the constitution and interpret it accordingly, that is the one he chooses to focus on. By the way, to set the record straight, there is absolutely nothing wrong with democracy. Democracy gives the son of nobody a voice. Look at all the people that were elected under the Labour Party. These are people that were unknown in the scheme of things. These were people that were unknown in the politics of things. Some of them were even so poor that they could not even run campaign. They could not even print poster. You remember the Okada rider in Southern Kaduna that won this election, an unknown person. It was democracy that gave him the voice, that gave him the platform, and it was because of Labour Party. Labour Party gave these people the platform to win an election. Without Labour Party, it would have been impossible for these people to have a say in the national politics of Nigeria. The issue here is not democracy. The issue here is corruption. The issue here is corrupt politicians. That is what Wole Soyinka should focus on rather than focusing on Mr. P2B. Just last week, some governors won their cases in the Supreme Court. Rather than thanking their followers, rather than thanking the Supreme Court, they were thanking Mr. President. Isn't that crazy that in a democratic setting, the president is being given praise that some people won their case in the Supreme Court? So what is he talking about? This is all what we have been talking about, that the Supreme Court has been hijacked, that there is no independence in the Supreme Court. If some people that won their cases in the Supreme Court could be thanking the president for not interfering, this is what Wole Soyinka, with all his education, with all his exposure, should be talking about, not linking Mr. P2B to violence. I quite understand Soyinka's sentiment. The sentiment is the fact that his brother, his tribe man, a Yoruba man, is in power, but that does not mean that his village will be motorable. That does not mean that his street will be tarred. It does not mean that insecurity will not be in his state, in his region. Look at Buhari, for instance. Buhari spent a whole whooping 8 years as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but Katsina State was recorded as one of the worst hit states when it comes to insecurity, especially with the banditry and Boko Haram menace. A northwestern state like Zamfara was under siege by banditry. Yet, President Muhammadu Buhari, their brother, was in charge of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for 8 years, but he could not solve the insecurity in that region. So it's not about having your brother, it's not about having your tribe man, it's not about having your religion man. It is about having a competent man that will love the people, that will show empathy, that will put to work to solve the lingering problem of insecurity, economic in this country. Politicians don't care about our problem. They don't care about you and I. They only care about their interests. They only care about their own selfish means and those around them. Wole Soyinka, from everything he's doing, is to ensure that Tinubu become the president. Tinubu is not the president. He should focus on Tinubu to ensure that he deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians. That is all Nigerians care about at the moment. He should ensure that there is no insecurity in the land, because currently Nigeria, the whole country, is plagued with insecurity. Kidnapping is the order of the day. Look at Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, is plagued with insecurity. That should be Wole Soyinka concern, not Mr. P2B. Coming on national television to gaslight Mr. P2B will not hide us from the truth. It will not stop the truth. It will not make Nigeria to automatically become a better place if the person at the helm of affairs do not do the right thing. Wole Soyinka should focus on the most important things and leave Mr. P2B and Datti Baba Ahmed alone. He should respect himself, he should respect his status, he should respect his old age, and leave Mr. P2B alone. Thank you for watching. Do have a lovely day.